everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for our virtual event on the topic of surfing the wave of disruptive technology. My name is Sandra Cutrona, and today's presentation is the fourth installment in our series of live virtual sessions for the 2018 IEEE Women in Engineering International Leadership Conference. The virtual track is brought to you by our sponsor, Ericsson, and the entire series of events will be taking place on selective Wednesdays from now through May 16th. So we've branded the series #WeWednesday. That's #WIE Wednesday. In order to participate in today's session or ask a question of myself or the guest speakers, please join the conversation on Twitter and YouTube live chat. Just send your questions using #WeWednesday or follow us at WIEILC. And we will get to you as many questions throughout the session as possible. I'm here today with some very inspiring and talented women of Ericsson on this virtual panel, and we will talk about what disruptive technology means to us and the various impacts disruptive technology has on strategy, development, operations, and with our customers. Once again, I'm Sandra Cutrona, Head of IT Delivery within North America, and we're here today with Caroline Stern. Say hello, Caroline. Vice President, Head of Consulting and Learning Services, and Head of Digital Services Strategy and Planning. We also have Demetra Pittas. Hello, Demetra. Head of New Software Introduction, OSS Service Management. We also have Scholastica Lowell, Senior Systems Engineer, 4G and 5G Solutions. And we have Leona Young, Director of Operations, Regional Carriers Customer Unit. You know, as we thought about what to highlight for this panel discussion on disruption, I couldn't help but think of how technology isn't just disruptive, but it is changing the way we communicate. It is such a pleasure to be here today with my colleagues on this panel. Technology is driving us to be more connected by virtual means and is changing our lives daily in exciting and amazing ways. Having said this, I would like Caroline to begin and talk about the company's strategy and her involvement on what disruptive technology means to her. Caroline?
Sure. Absolutely, Sandra. As VP of Strategy for Digital Services in North America for Ericsson, our strategy really is to help customers deal with this accelerating rate of change. Due to things like Moore's Law and the explosion of data, the ability to have data lakes and start to have faster feedback loops between applications, between data, leveraging machine learning. This increasing pace of innovation is outpacing organizational agility and capabilities for our customers to be able to consume technological advances. So from a strategic perspective, our goal at Ericsson is to work towards being a software-defined company, leveraging the capabilities of software, leveraging all the capabilities to iterate very quickly, to increase rapid feedback loops with our customers, to understand how can we continuously improve, how can we co-create through the abilities of continuous delivery, through software-defined, through distributed cloud, and the ability to pilot things like Internet of Things for IoT Accelerator Marketplace. So there's so many opportunities through digital and through software-defined to increase the pace of feedback loops with our customers and really work together to understand what do we need to make them successful.
Thanks, Carolyn. You know, I started my career over 20 years ago as a systems tester for toll-free 888 and line information databases. It was exciting for me because I got to test software such as caller ID that I could explain to my family and my friends. I remember going through long processes of reviewing requirements, high-level specifications, test cases, receiving code deliveries, manually testing the code, waiting for the next uplift. And then all of that work was done. Months and months of work was done, and our customers still hadn't had a chance or a glimpse to even see how the product works. So you fast forward to now. To succeed in technology, you need to be first and you need to be the best. We work very closely with our customers, usually with the high-level use case. We establish continuous delivery, automation, and continuous integration, many times upfront and on site with our customers with instant feedback. Our customers, and while we're at it, their customers need the tools and the reliability of a 5G network so they can unlock and implement all the wonderful ideas that we as individuals use day in and day out and will use in the future. Examples such as cloud management, orchestration, analytics, and machine learning enable our customers to have reliable environments that can auto-correct themselves. Nobody wants downtime in their lives. We want our mobile devices to work, and we want to stream Netflix 100% of the time. So why would we expect that our customers who provide these services to accomplish that unless we also work in that high speed and reliable manner? I'm grateful to lead a team within our OSS product development unit to turn these incredible ideas into reality for our customers. My team is engaged upfront in pre-sales activities with our end customer. We work with our customers to architect the solutions, install, integrate, and support brand new products never before deployed in a live customer network. And finally, we work with our Ericsson product delivery partners to transfer competency and enable them to further deploy our products into other customer environments. We accomplish this by being embedded in the development unit, at the same time be close to the customer, by providing instant and honest feedback that we all agree is for the betterment of the product and the satisfaction of our customers.
Thank you, Demetra. I'm Scholastica, so maybe I should talk about what disruptive technologies mean to me. I think they are new ideas and new technologies that can disrupt existing market or industries. Working in 4G and 5G, definitely the 5G with its enhanced capabilities and performance, we are realizing a lot of new use cases and making human life better. So some of the use cases we were talking about a whole lot is, for example, we can use 5G to remotely control robot in a manufacturing industry, or to allow a doctor to perform medical procedure from a remote location, or even be the main communication strategy for a self-driving car. So all these new use cases is making 5G a disruptive technology. So working in this is very exciting. I think it kind of create a culture within the company that this is a new era, and we are allowed to do things differently than we were doing before. I come from the network management space, and I think that we are no longer looking at doing the same kind of network management applications to help our customer to manage the network anymore. We are trying to create the network management tasks that are automated to reduce the human intervention in managing their network. We are continue to do a lot of self-organizing network features, zero touch, automating things like self-health checks, self-diagnostics. At fault, we can even try doing self-recovery. And at time there are new software load, we can do automatic upgrade with no service impacts. So all these are new thinking rolling into our culture now in the program. It's very challenging, but it's also very exciting.
Hi, I'm Leona Young. So I work with regional carriers. Specifically, I specialize in utilities. When I think of disruptive technology, I think of something that really changes the world. Google was a disruptive technology. You know, nowadays, a 2-year-old asks you a question. When you don't know the answer, a 2-year-old will tell you to Google it. With my customers, LTE is changing the way they manage their business. Energy and grid management is being done over LTE, replacing decades-old technology and opening the door to even more changes with the ability to move to 5G. And the utility space is a little different because we tend to move slower. Utilities are very conservative, and they don't move to the latest and greatest thing quite like a tier 1 carrier might. So what's disruptive for them is actually something that was a little older, but it is changing the way they carry on business.
Great, thank you so much, Leona. Now let's dive into the development aspects. Scholastica, given your area of expertise in 5G and its development, can you share your experience in leading a team during these disruptive times? Scholastica?
Yeah, thank you, Sandra. As I was saying, I work in 4G and 5G. So 5G has opened up a new program with many new ideas and features going on. Let's say I was recently involved in one of the new technology to virtualize the RAN network nodes. So at the beginning, it was very a lot of new things to learn. What is virtualization? How to do cloud management? What are the virtualized platform we need to support? And at the same time, you have to think about how you put your old technology onto a new platform and make sure you continue to work the way it was or even better. So over the process, we learned a lot on how to operate in a new program like this. I'll have to say there are a few things that I picked up from the leadership team, which they did really well, and I think there are key elements that any program that involve new technology should incorporate. So there are three things I want to talk about. The first thing is to have a vision up front. I mean, we're doing a new thing, we're supporting a new use case, then why are we doing it? What does it mean to the company? What does it mean to our customers, or what does it mean to the industry? What value does it bring? Setting that goal, it will help us to understand, yes, that's the right thing to do. So that's a strategic vision that the leadership team have laid out to us, and that help us to understand why we are doing this. But of course, that wasn't quite enough. I mean, even though we know what we're trying to do, but how to go about starting it, because it's a new technology. The leadership team, with some help with experts and architects, they also came with a technology vision. They bring in a high-level architecture view on what sort of the end goal should look like, what sort of component and functions we need to deliver, what are the requirements, and what are the timeline to be able to be in the game. So with both the strategic vision and the technology vision, it helps the whole program, all the people involved, to understand what's the direction and how do we get started. And I find it very important. The second thing I want to talk about is because it's a new technology, you would probably spend a lot of time researching and studying the whole technology. So the systemization phase is very important, and it's usually going to be a very extensive one. In this phase, all the system engineers and researchers are involved, and they are still encouraged to be creative and bring in new ideas on how you can achieve the end goal. But then in the process, a lot of new ideas is going to pop up. So how do we manage that? I think technology leadership in this phase was very important. We have a technology leadership team where they review all the new ideas from people. They will help us to find the right options going forward, and it is to make sure that our end goal is still reached in time and with quality. So I think in this process, the technology leadership was very important. And the last thing I want to talk about is the urgency to demonstrate. I mean, it's a new product. It's probably going to take longer time to build. But do we want to just demonstrate at the end? No, we want to be the first. We want to beat the competitors. We want to show our customers that we can do it. So right up front, the leadership team would already put in place a demo plan. We will engage our key customers and build up the relationship with them, so that even before the end product is done, we start to demonstrate the functions that we're building. It's incremental to our end product. I think in this process, it benefits the company also, because being able to reach our customer early, we can get feedbacks early, and we have opportunities to deploy a prototype product in a real network deployment, where you can get early feedback and more data to understand what you're doing, and you can update that and enhance your end product in time to meet those feedback. So I think this phase, this setup is also very important for programs that incorporate new technologies. So I would say all those are the three things I want to mention, and I think they are equally important to any big program that involve new technologies.
I completely agree with what Scholastica said. In the OSS domain, examples such as cloud management, orchestration, and analytics are all enablers for our customers and partners to enhance the service they provide to the end user, basically to you and to me. These enablers are key elements of anticipating, maintaining, or even exceeding the customer's expectations for the end user. Networks and services that can, for example, fix themselves automatically, as Scholastica said, is the normal that users want to experience. Basically, we just can't slow others down. Traditionally, the software model worked off of requirements that had to be on time, with high quality, and on budget, and we all know that. But with disruptive technologies, that process is not good enough. The development and deployment of disruptive technology moves at the speed of light, and we have to move at least just as fast with our customers. But how do we do that? How do we navigate through uncharted waters? Well, to me, it's about partnering, it's about trusting, it's about being creative, transparent, and flexible. And to play in the disruptive space, you need to be a brave leader and you need to act. Use cases replace strict requirements. Waterfall development models are replaced with agile DevOps engagements. Closeness to the customer allows for instant closed-loop feedback. Diverse cross-organizational teams have to lead together, work together, and act together towards a common goal. As long as the common goal is fully understood, then having flexibility to get to that goal is extremely important. Taking checkpoints, continuous delivery and integration, assessing along the way, and not just waiting for the final delivery is important so that we can easily auto-correct. If the teams feel empowered to get the job done and leaders can assist them by removing any roadblocks that they encounter, then the sky's the limit.
Great, thank you so much, ladies. Again, to the audience out there, thanks again for joining. And don't forget to join our chat using the hashtag WeWednesday or follow us at WIEILC. We will get to as many questions throughout the session as possible, so please don't be shy, send us over some questions. Leona is one of our senior delivery leads in Ericsson. Leona, how is the customer in your experience deploying disruptive technology?
So many of my customers are at a fork in the road. They must make a decision. Do they upgrade their current technology, or do they move to a new technology that offers them a path to 5G? My flagship customer made the decision to be the first utility in the US to roll out LTE for their energy management system, covering everything from nuclear power plants to the power lines going into residential neighborhoods. Their use cases are much different than those we see for Tier 1 carriers. It's not just cat videos and streaming Netflix. They're controlling the power grid for the Southeast United States on an LTE network. Their employees are utilizing LTE for mission-critical voice and data. The network is hardened to withstand natural disasters. As you know, when the power goes out, their linemen and women are out in the field repairing the damage, and they must have the ability to communicate. Internally, our teams had to come to an understanding that the utility space is unlike typical carriers. Their needs are different and their expectations are different. I had to educate the internal stakeholders that this deployment was not just another LTE deployment, but a completely different thing. This network is such that if there's an outage, someone could die. It truly is life and death. So from that perspective, LTE is really disrupting the way the utilities are managing their business. Caroline?
Yeah, thanks a lot. So in terms of disruptive technology and helping customers to adopt it, it's interesting because there's really three components, right? There's people, process, and technology. A business process is all the inputs any business takes to create outputs to add value to be able to charge a premium to their end customers. And so, of course, our goal is always to leverage disruptive technology to increasingly add value to the end customer, because until someone's willing to pay, nothing happens. But how do we bring together those components of people, technology, and process to make it all come together? And so if you were to guess, what is the most challenging part between technology, people, and process? It's people. People don't like to change. And as much as we're talking about technology and so many exciting advancements, the people are scared of change. And so you actually move into very specific techniques and adoptions to galvanize change and make people excited. And the way we do this is by aligning and improving. And Demetra says something very key before, and that is that common goal, that future state vision. There must be a compelling future state to really galvanize employees that everyone is aligned towards. So we picked some key success measures. Usually it's agility, meaning how quickly from an idea to getting something, a prototype in someone's hands, does that take? So from concept to cash, does it take 10 months? Can we get it to 10 days? That's a good measure we can take. So we can align to that measure. And the common state vision is the ideas that you have in the morning for a platform, for a 5G application, for an IoT device testing capability, that we can make it faster, we can make it better, and get everyone aligned and galvanized towards that common future state vision. Then do a pilot, do a proof of concept. Jim Whitehurst of Red Hat has this quote that planning as we know it is dead. And several of the women on this call talked about the notion that waterfall thinking, it doesn't work anymore. As soon as something hits a user, we have new information, we have new feedback. So we're going to always be pivoting and adapting that feedback. So we do a trial, we do a proof of concept, we base it on an innovation platform. And once we get the outputs to those key aligned measures, usually we'll find that cycle time that took this long before now takes this long. The cost per release, the cost per whatever we were trying to do went from this to this. We'll publish it, we'll show it graphically, get people really excited, and make sure that the stakeholders are very excited about this, that we have a change champion, and we can take that initial team of people, say 5 people, and use them as change agents to really roll out the adoption to the rest of the organization. And then we build on each iteration, adding more and more people to the digital adoption, doing a mentoring model, training them on the skills, doing capabilities transformation. Digital transformation is skills transformation. Gartner says that 67% of CEOs say we don't have the skills for digital transformation. Therefore, we do it in a very iterative fashion, training people, mentoring people, working with people, being their partners to make sure that the technology is in place, the new processes are there to make things more efficient, they're streamlined, they're automated, and then also the people are able to adapt and be energized and invigorated and part of the change.
That's great. Sandra, though, we'd love to hear from you too. Being in IT, how do you pitch internally to promote disruptive technology?
You know, I'd love to just echo what Caroline just stated, because it's pretty much in line of what IT's vision, mission, and really view of what this change is about to take place. And in being in IT myself, our very own internal pitch for promoting and explaining what disruptive technology means to us is simple. It's called the digital transformation. And in traditional IT industry, it's shifting rapidly. And we in IT, we're embracing disruptive technology, promoting innovation internally, and working hard to bridge the gap between the business, telecom, and technology, working together day by day to do this. So in short, our objective includes creating a digital experience and the workplace for our customers and our employees, and to support them with the right data and analytics. IT plays a huge role to automate and simplify processes and information flows. So it's really hand in hand, and I echo again what Caroline stated. So thank you about that. So how about Scholastica now? What is your internal pitch promoting disruptive technology?
As a system engineer, I think a lot of us would, the first thing comes to mind is to write a pattern. I think Ericsson have a very good process laid out to allow us to capture our ideas. In this process, I think it's very key to start. It opens up your thinking that you don't just look at within the company what's happening, but you also are required to look at the industry if the same idea already happened somewhere else, or there are other ideas out there as well. So, and also the process encourage us to collaborate. You can invite a few colleagues of the same area of expertise and ask them to contribute to your pattern. The key is that we capture the idea as an asset to the company right up front. And of course, you do want to bring it to the next level and see if it can help the company to achieve new businesses. You would go ahead and ask for the area leadership team and talk to them, and the product management team, and present your idea. I think in this process is very important because you start to open up your idea and talk to other people, and also you're trying to collect feedbacks. Everyone involved in these discussions have to be open-minded, because it could be a new concept, it could be different from the existing model, new businesses opportunities and so forth. So keeping an open mind is important. Even for the inventor himself, the end result could be that different ambitions could be realized and not exactly what you were proposing at the beginning. So having that discussions would help to make the decision from the company perspective if you can again move to the next stage. It could be that acquiring funding to do a prototype, to do pre-development, to further prove the concept, or to define a study that can ask other colleagues in the area to help formally research your idea. Or it could be right from the get-go that you can provide input to existing product requirement. So all in all, I think we have a very good process layout, and everybody kind of know this is the way to pitch a new idea within the company.
Great, thanks again, Scholastica. So again, to the audience out there, don't forget to join our chat, use the hashtag League Wednesday, follow us at WIEILC. You were really looking for any questions right here throughout the session, and we're ready to really get into those Q&As as soon as you send us some questions. So before we do get into the Q&A, I would like to ask all of our panelists one last question. So I'd like to start with Scholastica. Scholastica, do you feel that women handle disruptive technology differently?
Yes. I often ask why do I do things differently than my husband? Is it because he's a man and I'm a woman, or is it because we're just two different people? I think I convince myself the answer is both. We are all different. I think I also do things differently than other women out there. So, but I think for whoever individual who wants to be on the wave of disruptive technology, they have to have a passion to try new things and be brave. A lot of good ideas not just come from one person. So if we can embrace the differences among people, I think we can do bigger things.
So it's been proven that men and women think differently. Our brains are hardwired differently. Women tend to think more holistically. And I believe due to that, women adapt to disruption easier. We see beyond the immediate issues and see the bigger picture. And this is one of the reasons it's so important for women to have a seat at the table. Because men and women think differently. When you combine forces, it gives organizations a powerful boost. And that boost is reflected not only in creativity, but also in the organization's bottom line. Demetra, what are your thoughts?
Thanks, Leona. So for the most part, women handle everything differently than men. That's why it's so important for women to be part of technology. And while we're at it, for all industries. And here's a little secret. Nobody, not men nor women, can predict the future. And when you're talking about disruptive technologies, by definition, it's the innovation that creates a new market value that disrupts and displaces an existing market. For the sake of humanity, who said that only men can accomplish that? And if both men and women can benefit from this disruption, why can't women be part of the innovation and the creative process, the development and the implementation? To me, men and women both bring value in our own individual way, and we should embrace and celebrate that equally. Caroline?
Yeah, so I struggled with this question initially a little bit because my first thought was, no, that we do approach it similarly. But then I thought about systems thinking and what a couple of you other have already addressed. And that is, I think there is a tendency for women to approach complex issues with systems thinking, more of a 360 view, and men can be a little more linear. And I know that's a stereotype, but in general, cognitive diversity is very crucial, because if you don't have cognitive diversity, you're sitting in an echo chamber and speaking to a mirror. And then you'll get to a groupthink scenario, which is very dangerous for any business. So women tend to look at things from a holistic perspective, systems thinking, and are able to do divergent thinking. Now, men can do that as well, without a question of a doubt. But in terms of generalities, I do believe there is a bit of a difference between systems thinking and linear thinking, but both are extremely valuable, and brought together is a powerful combination.
Well said, ladies. For me personally, I think women are capable of doing anything. We have no disadvantages, and we're just in the same situation as anyone else. If this question was asked to me 10 years ago, I would have probably had a different answer. But right now, let's embrace this journey. Let's enjoy it. And we just need to keep making our voices heard. So women out there, stop questioning yourself. Just do it. We make mistakes like anyone else would. Don't worry about what you don't know. Keep working, learning. You're making a difference. And have a sense of humor. Be able to laugh at yourself. And if you fail, get back up. It's all good. Keep at it. So thank you again, everyone. And we're just going to look at a couple of Q&As. We have one right here. And the question is, how do we sell disruptive technology like 5G when the standards are being defined? Scholastica?
Okay. Yes, it is difficult. I've been working with features where we're looking at the standard and we are a little bit ahead of the standard, and what happened if the standard change after we make our decision. So we always face that sort of challenge. But I think being first is still important. I think nowadays in the standard committee, you see Ericsson involved. You will also see our customers involved. In the program, when we do demos early, we engage the customer at the same time. So the communication channel is there with the customers who is going to buy the product, and with the standard committee who is involved, and the customer is there as well. So to me, it is an open dialogue that we just move forward together, and of course is an ongoing thing before we reach the end goal. But the risk is much reduced when we do that.
Yeah, and I'll just add on to what Scholastica said, and that is you definitely don't want to wait until standards are defined when there is opportunity to look at the functional requirements. So really, what are you trying to accomplish with, once the 5G standards are defined, what are you trying to accomplish from a functional perspective? Typically, it's low latency. And so you need to find a way to replicate those situations so that you can prototype much more quickly and determine in advance. Again, a business case, once it hits a user, it's going to start changing. So there is a proven first mover advantage. We've seen that time and time and again in telecommunications with each evolution. So you want to be able to prototype or replicate whatever it is you want to do before the standards are defined so that you can have that first mover advantage. And there's multiple ways to replicate those functional requirements.
Great. Thank you so much, ladies. Do we have any more questions? We'll just give it a few seconds and see here. Great. So we have a question here. What's the difference between handling telecom and utilities? So I'm going to ask Leona if she can answer that. Thanks so much.
So generally speaking, and this is just in stereotypes, utilities are much slower to adopt new technology. They're extremely conservative. Of course, technologies have to really be proven before a utility can take that kind of risk, because the power grid, where would we be without it? So that's the biggest difference, is they're extremely conservative and they're very slow to make decisions, and their timelines are different. And also, the utilities have to deal with state regulators, and we don't see that with our Tier 1 operators.
Great. Thank you again, Leona. So we do have another question. I believe Caroline will be able to answer it. How do we convince stakeholders to invest hard dollars in what are often dismissed as soft barriers inherited in technical disruption, even though, as you said, they're the hardest ones to overcome? Thank you. Caroline?
Yes. And I think my microphone's stuck. Okay. Yeah, so going back to the aspects of technology, people, and process, and I apologize, I can hear my husband mowing the lawn. So people think, okay, we're going to deploy virtualized network. We're going to deploy VoLTE, and it's all about the technology. We just need to virtualize it. And yet, oh, guess what? The people don't have the skills. There's no future state process. No one's evaluated the current state and the future state. But they know that we need to virtualize the network. So we're going to invest in that. But yet, what happens when people don't have the training? Do you think the project's on time, or it's going to be late? We pretty much know it's going to be late. And that's where it's more of a sales effort. At this point, it really is. It's a persuasion capability and a sales capability. And the best way is through stories, because we've seen people be successful and we've seen people fail. And that is why software engineering, why technology, and the methods we go about this have evolved over time. And through the power of a story, and by showing two different scenarios, one where people have succeeded and one where people have failed, they're very powerful. And I've seen time and time and again in technology showing stories, things like, okay, well, why would I archive the data off this server that's out EOL? And you can talk about the time when a hospital found that their server was pirated by some offshore company that was selling movies or whatever. There's so many things that customers themselves don't think about. It's our job to show the pitfalls. It's our job to point out what can happen if you think something that's not important really can be a major pitfall.
And if I can add to that, I think that the more diverse we are and the more diverse that our customers are, the more chance that people will resonate to these soft requirements that they really are a requirement. It's not just about building a network and all of a sudden it's working. It's about the people that are using it, the day-to-day operators or anybody who's involved in getting the job done. They need to know how to use it. They need to be able to quickly learn and also give feedback. And we have to respond to that feedback as well so that we can make the product even better. And I think having multiple viewpoints will allow us to sell these services, but also just build them in automatically as part of the product right from the get-go.
Great, ladies. Thank you again. So I think we're going to be closing the session right now. So thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. What a great conversation. And right before we sign off, I'd like to ask everyone to keep the conversation going in social media. So use the hashtag WeWednesday or follow us on Twitter at WIEILC. Also, thank you again to our virtual track sponsor, Ericsson. Don't forget to sign up for the next session next Wednesday, April 25th, for an amazing presentation on brain-based productivity hacks with Linda Stacy. For more information on how to sign up, please visit the IEEE WIEILC conference website. Have a great day, everyone.